Chemical safety is the practice of using occupational chemical compound in a way that protect human safety and health while also avoiding environmental damage. It is important because many industries employ poisonous substances into our daily basis. There are 4 types of exposure. First is inhalation. Chemicals that take form in gas and vapor are easily inhaled. This chemical can absorb into the respiratory tract and can head into the bloodstream and organs. Second is skin or eye absorption. Chemicals contact with skin can result in mild dermatitis or a rash. Third is injection. Injection can cause the toxic chemicals to travel to the organs. Lastly is injection. This doesn't necessarily mean directly injecting chemicals into your bloodstream, but if you have a cut on the skin, chemicals can be absorbed that way. Biosafety is the discipline addressing the safe handling and containment of infectious microorganisms and hazardous biological materials. Biosafety is important to avoid chances of biohazard or infection being exposed. There are 2 biosafety principles, which is containment and risk assessment. Containment consists of lab practices, safety equipment, and lab design. Primary containment is intended to keep people in the lab safe from contamination. Secondary containment keeps biological risk and disease out of the lab and away from the public. Biological risk assessment should be centered on your facility and the material you are working with. There are 4 biosafety levels. First is biosafety level 1. This is the lowest level of security for handling biological material. The start of item poses no or only minor risk to a healthy adult, as well as minor risk to a laboratory staff and the environment. The example of biosafety level 1 organisms are Agrobacterium tumefaciens, Pseudomonas fluorescens, and bovine enterovirus. Second is biosafety level 2. All activity must meet stricter security criteria than in biosafety level 1 facility. Bacteria, viruses, and organisms linked to a human disease are among biological material employed in biosafety level 2 laboratory. Infection can be at modest risk. Example of biosafety level 2 organisms are Chlamydia pneumoniae, Enterobacter aspidote, and Herpes simplex virus. Third is biosafety level 3. Biosafety level 3 entails working with native or exotic agents that could cause serious or potential fatal infections if inhaled, as well as posing serious and environmental danger. The example are Brucella abortus, Yersinia pestis, and West Nile fever. Lastly is biosafety level 4. It entails handling very dangerous and exotic biological material that may cause infection inside the laboratory as a result of aerosol. They are usually located in separate or isolated buildings. The example of organisms are Ebola virus, Lassa virus, and Marburg virus.
Fukushima nuclear disaster was a nuclear incident in 11 March 2011 at Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant in Okuma, Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. The proximate cause of the disaster was the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. The incident happened from International Nuclear Event Scale is at level 7 due to high radioactive release over day 4 to 6. One confirmed cancer death attributed to radiation exposure by government following opinions from a panel of radiologists and other experts medical sources pending for long-term facilities due to the radiation exposure, and 16 with physical injuries due to hydrogen explosion, 2 workers taken to hospital with possible radiation burns.
History of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. The accident was triggered by the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami on Friday, 11 March 2011. On detecting the earthquake, the active reactors automatically shut down their normal power generating fission reactions. Because of this shutdown and other electrical grid supply problems, the reactor's electricity supply failed, and their emergency diesel generators automatically started. Critically, these were required to provide electrical power to the pumps that circulated coolant through the reactor's cores. This continued circulation was vital to remove residual decay heats, which continues to be produced after fission has ceased. However, the earthquake had also generated a tsunami 40-meter high that arrived shortly afterwards and swept over the plant seawall and then flooded the lower parts of reactors 1, 2, 4. This flooding caused the failure of the emergency generators and loss of power to the circulating pumps. The resultant loss of reactor core cooling led to 3 nuclear meltdowns, 3 hydrogen explosions, and released the radioactive contaminants in Unit 1, 2, and 3 between 12 and 15 March. The spent fuel pool of previously shut down reactors 4 increased in temperature on 15 March due to decay heat from newly added spent fuel rods, but did not boil down sufficiently to expose the fuel.
Purpose of laboratory design. Firstly, to provide a safe and accessible working environment for laboratory employees. Secondly, to provide maximum flexibility for safe research and teaching applications. As a result, wherever possible, our solution is include health and safety in the design. Laboratory design objective: to provide a suitable safe workplace, facilitate workplace activities, efficiency, and cost effectiveness. For principles and concepts: protecting workers, enable work properly, securing the establishment or university, environmental protection, and lastly, compliance with regulations. This is the reason why we have the purpose of laboratory design. This is because we want to prevent any incidents from happening. Next, laboratory tasks can be carried out in a safe, efficient, and economic way. Normal personnel, specimen, material, and waste movement can be carried out safely in laboratories without disturbing or affecting ongoing work. In the event of an emergency, there is enough room for individuals to rush or be assisted, carried, or even tried if they have become ill or injured. Maintenance, cleaning, and decontamination can be performed in hidden space or surface, such as behind or under furniture and equipment. Lastly, any necessary safety equipment, such as isolation switch, fire extinguishers, and safety showers, has enough space and access.
I will explain about mixed waste management. What is mixed waste? According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, mixed waste can be formed wherever radioactive materials are used in operation that include the usage of chemically hazardous compounds. The mixed waste come from one or two sources in general. There are 3 types of mixed waste. Firstly, low-level waste that result from research, development, and reproduction of chemical weapons. Secondly, high-level waste. High-level waste that are result from reprocessing spent nuclear fuel and irradiated target from reactors. Lastly, mixed transuranic waste that contains radioactive elements heavier than uranium and a hazardous waste components. The simplest way to manage the mixed waste is by removing one of the hazard. It is including adding bleach or another EPA-registered disinfectant to destroy biohazard, radioactive hazard, or chemical hazard. When adding the bleach to the mixed waste, we should always carefully to avoid unforeseen reaction created. Next, let a radioactive isotope decay so that only chemical or biohazard left. Last but not least, if we handle extreme cases, we should place the mixed waste in a typical storage bag.